and we're kind of going into a realm in this series of lessons over the next few days that might be a little more challenging just to kind of wrap your head around. And why I say that is just because some of it is the wording that or the languaging that's getting used in there. Now, just as a review, last week we covered "I'm not the victim of the world I see." That's how we started the week on Monday with that lesson. Then on Tuesday we did "I have invented the world I see." And Wednesday, it was all about there's another way of looking at the world. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Ooh, there's a little pattern in some of our conversations already today. So then Thursday, we got to this one, and that was that I could see peace instead of this. And ultimately, for those who have not been able to be with us every day with this Course in Miracles, the ultimate goal of the Course in Miracles, which is 365 lessons, is peace, contentment, and fulfillment. So that's what this is all leading to for all of us, should you choose. And so this was kind of the first time we talked about peace. And so the lesson was I could see peace instead of this. And then we ended the week on this one. My mind is a part of God's. I am very holy. And in this context, the word holy, HOLY, is not from the spiritual or religious sense. It's from the whole body, the whole person. It's you, you're whole, WHOLE. So I just want to make sure that we put that in the right context for this, because yesterday's lesson was my holiness envelops everything I see. So that's what we worked with yesterday, was your holiness, your wholeness is that everything you see or envelops everything you see. And today's lesson is going to be a continuation of that in a way. And today's lesson is this: my holiness, that was yesterday. It's today is this one. My holiness blesses the world. My holiness blesses the world. And I'm going to read the text from the lesson, and then I'm going to break it down a little bit for you, and then I'll give you the homework for today, because the homework's a little bit different than what we've been used to. So it says this: my holiness blesses the world. This idea that my holiness blesses the world contains the first glimmering of your true function in the world, or why you are here. And I think that's a very powerful statement. So this is the first one to give us a sense of what our function really is here. Your purpose is to see the world through your own holiness. Thus you are, and the world blessed together. Thus you are, and the world is blessed together. So it's that wholeness. Now, when your purpose is to see the world through your own holiness, no one loses. Nothing is taken away from anyone. Everyone gains through your holy vision, because you and the world are blessed together. When your purpose is to see the world through your own holiness, it signifies the end of sacrifice, because your own holiness offers everyone his full due. And he is entitled to everything, because the holiness of everything is his birthright as a son of God. So that first paragraph in my mind just talks so much about abundance. Abundance. It's not about, if I have abundance, someone has to have lack. It's not that. It's that there's abundance for all in being whole. It goes on to say, because you and the world are blessed together, when you see the world through your own holiness, there is no other way in which the idea of sacrifice can be removed from the world's thinking. Seeing the world through your own holiness is the only way that will work. Any other way of seeing will inevitably demand payment of someone or something. Again, that's that lack piece. As a result, the perceiver will lose something. Nor will the perceiver have any idea that the perceiver is losing something. So in that, it's understanding that that's all perception. Yet, is the perceiver's wholeness restored to the perceiver's awareness through your vision? So it's about who you're being in your holiness. Your holiness blesses the perceiver by asking nothing of the perceiver. Those who see themselves as whole make no demands. It's a powerful statement as well. So I think that's important to kind of look at. Now, it goes on to say your holiness is the salvation of the world. Your holiness lets you teach the world that the world is one with you, not preaching to the world, not by telling the world anything, but merely by your quiet recognition that in your holiness are all things blessed along with you. Today's for a longer lesson period. So So this is kind of the key takeaways of these 3 bullet points. I just wanted to kind of put there for you because let me just get there. So it's about you being whole. It's whole, W-H-O-L-E, right? And so holiness, I want to make sure we've got it that. Now, today's lesson is slightly different than what we've done in the last few weeks. We're going to ask for 4 longer exercise periods. So 4 periods for this lesson. And they're going to be slightly different as well. They're going to be 3 to 5 minutes in length is what we're asking that you do. Begin with the repetition of the idea for today. That's the lesson statement today, that my holiness blesses the world. So start with that. And then following by a minute or so of looking about you as you apply the idea to whatever you see. So my holiness blesses the world. My holiness blesses the world. My wholeness blesses the world, another way of saying it. And then look about wherever you're at, and whatever your eyes rest upon, you would say this: my holiness blesses that chair. My holiness blesses that clock. My holiness blesses this body. So just whatever it is, that's how you start that statement. And so that's the first one, is just that repetition of that by whatever you see for, again, 3 to 5 minutes. Then here's the second part, and this is different and unique to what we've done so far. So I just want to make sure I point it out. After you've done that for a few minutes, and there's no rush to it, it's just whatever your eyes gaze upon, my holiness blesses that. Then we're going to ask that you close your eyes. Close your eyes and apply the idea that your holiness blesses the world to any person who occurs to you when you close your eyes. So, and how you would do that is just the statement, my holiness blesses you and that person's name. With your eyes closed, you do that. So just eyes closed. If someone comes to mind, my holiness blesses John. And then you may continue that practice period with your eyes closed. You may just keep doing that. Like if there's more coming up, you may just keep doing that. Or you might choose to open your eyes and apply the idea that your holiness blesses the world to your outer world. It's up to you. It's whatever feels right in that moment. In essence, it's your outer world and your inner world is what we're working with, right? Eyes closed, inner world, outward, what I'm seeing or gazing. So, and you do that then for the period of 3 to 5 minutes. And it says the practice period concludes with the repetition of the idea that my holiness blesses the world. So just say that as the last way to end the practice period. And then if your eyes are closed, open your eyes, and you would say it one more time with your eyes open. So it's your outer world and your inner world. Both times you want to say, my holiness blesses the world. My holiness blesses the world. Now, that's the 4 3 to 5 minute pieces we're asking that you do throughout the day. And then you might choose to do some shorter exercises as well, much like we've done the last couple of weeks. When things come up that might give you a little bit of pause or might make you a little anxious, is that you would do the same thing, repeating my holiness blesses the world as often as you can. And it says it's particularly helpful to apply that idea silently to anyone you meet, using their name as you do so. So if you meet someone today that you haven't seen in a while, you might just silently say to yourself, my holiness blesses Sarah. My holiness blesses Betty, whoever that is. And it's essential to use the idea that your holiness blesses the world if anyone seems to cause an adverse reaction to you. Offer them the blessing of your holiness immediately, that you may learn to keep your holiness in your own awareness. So this is an interesting lesson from that respect. And so it's, again, it's different from what we've done before is all it is. Let me just read the text to it for a few minutes, because I think kind of the explanation, because this might make a little more sense. So my holiness blesses the world. In order to give, you must possess what you intend to give away. That's a great statement. In order to give, you must possess what you intend to give away. If your outer world is a reflection of your mind's inner world, you must first possess the trait before you can help another obtain the same trait or item. So to be holy is to see yourself perfect, whole, and complete. If you have a journal or you're taking notes on this, that might be one worth writing down. To be holy is to see yourself as perfect, whole, and complete. That's a great affirmation too, by the way, if you struggle sometimes with self-esteem. I'm perfect, whole, and complete. This lesson points out that only when you know yourself as whole will you be free from making counter demands from another for the gifts you claim to provide. When you fail to see both parties in the relationship as perfect, whole, and complete, you are perceiving lack in both your inner and your outer worlds. Lack, as mentioned in yesterday's note, is A Course in Miracles definition for sin. Because of the ego's belief in lack, the ego's world of perception is seen as both a sinful and fearful place. As long as you perceive that you are not whole, you will perceive needs in both your inner and outer world. When you associate yourself with the body, this world becomes a very needy place. Let me say that again. When you associate yourself with the body, the vessel that carries who you are, this world becomes a very needy place. The world of physicality is utilized by your ego to provide and prove its belief in separation, in lack, and in fear. The ego uses the world of form to support its belief that you are not whole, you are not perfect, and you are very incomplete. So that's ego that comes into play with that. So even when your physical needs have been met, your ego perceives that any gift to another requires sacrifice on your part. This belief of sacrifice follows from the ego's belief in lack. Because the ego perceives the giver and the receiver to be a separate autonomous parties, the ego's world is a zero-sum game. If the perceiver is to gain, the giver must lose. To the ego, giving always involves sacrifice because the ego believes it has needs. The ego only gives to get. The ego always wants a good deal. It expects some type of payback for any gift it would give to another. So only when you see yourself as whole and having no needs will you be willing to bless your world without asking for some type of past, current, or future payback in return. You are not blessing another if you expect something in return for your blessing or supposed gift. So when you bless the world with your holiness, you no longer have to fix, change, control, protect, or impress another. Since they are perfect, whole, and complete, just like you are, you now can love them unconditionally. So I love the explanation of this lesson because I think it really dives into, I think we shared this about a week and a half ago, that idea that there's a belief, are we spiritual beings having a physical experience on this earth, or are we physical beings having a spiritual experience on this earth? And I believe it's the former. That we're the spiritual being having a physical experience at this point in our timeline on this earth. And if that's the case, then it's easier to remove ego from the way that we operate. It's when we think it's the body that is really the be all and end all that it makes it difficult to not work from, if I give, I have to give up something. That idea. So with that, I'm going to ask if there's any thoughts, comments, or questions. We've got a minute or so left. All right, guys, so have a great day today. We will see you tomorrow. For those who can join us, we'll move on with lesson number 38. Then practice this through the day. If nothing else, the blessing of people when you meet them is actually really cool to do. And it's not a verbalizing, it's internal. And see what happens for you with that. Everyone you encounter is perfect, whole, and complete, including yourself. And everyone you encounter is perfect, whole, and complete. Have an awesome day, everybody. We will see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Darren.
Thanks for being here.